to Country Cooking. I'm your hostess, Cindy Schumacher. On today's show, we'll be making chicken enchiladas, spinach and berry salad, and a sauerkraut surprise cake. So we're going to start with the cake so we can get it going. And I'm going to start out with a cup and a half of sugar and a fourth pound of butter, which is a half cup. And we'll cream that. Now we're going to add 3 eggs, and we're going to add them one at a time so they incorporate really well. You might think sauerkraut surprise cake, but there's something about the sauerkraut in this cake that gives it some extra moisture, and you rinse the sauerkraut and drain it, so it takes a little bit of the salt away, but I think you'll really like this cake. Add our vanilla, a teaspoon, okay. I'm going to combine my dry ingredients before I add them, so I'm going to just grab another container here. 2 cups of flour and a half cup of cocoa. And we need a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of baking soda, and a 4th teaspoon of salt. And the reason we use, like I said, a smaller amount of salt is because the sauerkraut will give us a little bit of that, and our butter. Sift that together. Now I'm going to alternate adding that with the water, 1 cup of water. Remember, these recipes can all be found on the Valley website, and if you don't have internet, just give the girls a call and they'd be happy to get you the recipe. Okay, now we're going to add the sauerkraut that I've rinsed it and drained it, and I've chopped it fine, so we'll add that. And that is 8 ounces, just a little more than half of a can of sauerkraut if you buy it. I'm going to beat it for another minute, so we'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Sign up for HD or DVR from Valley this month and receive 2 months free and free installation. Call us today at 437-2615. You don't want to miss out on this offer.
Okay, we're going to pour our cake batter into the pan. I've got a 9x13 pan. I've sprayed it with Pam. Looks kind of lumpy, but that's the sauerkraut in there. But you won't even see it once it's baked. So we're going to put it in the oven for 35 to 40 minutes. And then we'll start on our salad. I have a pound of spinach and a pound of romaine, and I've taken the stems off the spinach because they're hard to chew and hard to swallow. So you want to make sure if you buy your spinach in a bag that you remove the stems. And I have pre-toasted, these are actually sliced almonds. The recipe calls for slivered, but it doesn't matter if I could not find slivered almonds when I was doing my shopping. So we're going to be using the sliced almonds. So you go ahead and sprinkle those over the salad. I'll add the rest of them later. I have a half pint of blueberries and a half pint of sliced strawberries. This time of the year, this is a nice salad because it's so pretty and the fruit is in season. And then I have a can of mandarin oranges that I've drained. And I've got green onions. Now also this salad calls for dill weed, and my dill isn't up yet, it's a little early, so I'm just going to give it a little bit of a sprinkle with dried dill weed. You'd be amazed when you make this salad in season how good the dill weed tastes and how it enhances the flavor. So we're just going to give it a little bit of a dry sprinkle to give it that effect. And then I'm going to toss it just a little bit. Mix it around. Okay. And I'm going to toss on the rest of the almonds. So that's ready to go. And we'll just set it aside while we work on the dressing. Now the dressing that we're going to be making is a red wine vinaigrette. I'm going to use a dressing beacon, and we'll start out with a half cup of olive oil. and a 1/4 cup of red wine vinegar. And it calls for a 1/4 cup of sugar. Two garlic cloves crushed. I like to mince my garlic, so I've taken the paper off. If you don't have fresh garlic, you can buy the minced garlic in the jar. That's perfectly fine. And then we need add our spices. We've got 4 teaspoons of salt. Fourth teaspoon of pepper. This one's easy because everything's a 1/4 cup. I mean 1/4 teaspoon. Pepper. 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And a 1/4 teaspoon of dry mustard. And then we'll put the lid on and start mixing it. Okay, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator so it chills while we're working on the rest. But we'll take a quick break while I kind of police my area so I have some room to work. Be right back.
Protect your investment with smart farm monitoring from Valley Telecommunications. Get video surveillance cameras for your home, shop, or barn. Sign up now and receive 5% off of Clear to There cameras and 1 month free of off-site storage.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
Okay, I've started my 6 ounces of chocolate chips, semi-sweet chocolate chips on top of a double boiler. I'm going to let those melt, and then we're going to start adding the rest of our ingredients. I have a pound of powdered sugar, which I have pre-sifted, and we've got 4 tablespoons of butter that I have melted, and a 1/2 cup of sour cream. So our chocolate is melted. We're going to take it off the stove, and then we'll start adding the salt, 1/4 teaspoon. And 4 tablespoons of butter. Our 1/2 cup of sour cream. Going to mix this together real well, and then we'll add it to the powdered sugar. If you have your own frosting recipe that you'd rather use, don't be afraid to do that. This is one that just happens to come with this recipe. This I got out of one of my favorite cookbooks. It's Junior League of Indianapolis, and Junior League cookbooks are always good ones. So if you're ever shopping for a new cookbook and something that you are sure it's going to be good, you're just about safe with the Junior Leaguer. I'm going to add the vanilla. Start blending. Nice thing about glass bowls is you can see if you've got some spots that you haven't hit yet. Okay, good. We'll just set this aside when the cake gets out and cools for a few minutes. Take a quick break. I'll get all my ingredients out for the enchiladas and we'll be right back.
Valley Telecommunications is pleased to announce that our Technology Solutions Center is fully stocked and open for business. We have a large selection to meet your wants and needs. Some of the items we currently carry are a variety of corded and cordless phones, different brands of tablets such as Kindle Fires and Apple iPads and all the accessories for them, Cookin computers, Epson and HP printers and ink cartridges, Apple iPods and accessories, office supplies, wireless keyboards and mice, cellular phones and accessories, different types of media storage, cameras, headphones, power strips and surge protectors, and much, much more. You can also get your very own Valley swag. Our prices are reasonable and comparable to any other retail store. If there is something that you want or need that we do not currently carry, please let us know so that we can check into it for you. We accept all major credit cards, cash or check. Please feel free to stop by our office and check out our new and improved store for all of your technology and day-to-day business needs.
Okay, we're ready to take the cake out. It's perfect. We'll set it aside and let it cool before we frost it, and we'll start working on the enchiladas. So I started 2 tablespoons of butter in the pan to melt, and then we'll add our half cup of, or our whole onion. It turns out to be about a half cup. We're going to saute that in there, and we're going to press in a garlic clove. Here again, remember, don't feel like you can't use the garlic in the jar. And if you don't even have that, you can use garlic powder, about a half teaspoon or so if you're substituting that. So we'll let that simmer a little bit. And once the onions and the garlic get a little bit transparent, that's when we'll start adding the rest of our ingredients. Remember, all these recipes can be found on the Valley website, and if you don't have internet, just give the girls a call, and they'll be happy to help you get a copy. All right, the onions and garlic are getting kind of tender, so we're going to start incorporating the other ingredients. I have, let's see, we need sugar. I need a teaspoon of sugar. Teaspoon of salt, and we have a half teaspoon of basil, half teaspoon of oregano. I have a little trick that I have with my spices. I keep them in alphabetical order, so it's always easy to find them when you're doing something quick. So we've got the half teaspoon of oregano. And I add those to the onions before I add any of the liquid because it kind of penetrates the onions a little better and helps the seasonings distribute. We have a 16-ounce can of tomatoes that are drained and crushed. And we have our tomato sauce we're going to add. And we're going to let that simmer for a few minutes. Okay, while that simmers, we'll go ahead and frost our cake. I think it's cool enough. Forgot to add the green chilies, get those in there. This is a can of sliced green chilies. They come in different heats. I usually buy mild because my family doesn't like it real hot, but your family or your guests might like it a little zippier, so you choose whichever you like. Okay, frost that cake. Don't feel like you have to use all of the frosting. If you feel like it's enough, you can just use the rest on graham crackers or whatever. Okay, looks like that. Set that up. Now when this gets, we're going to let this simmer for 15 minutes or so. When it gets nice and everything's kind of penetrated, then we're going to put a little bit of it on each one of the flour tortillas. This recipe, you just buy the package of 8 flour tortillas. If you prefer using like a whole wheat flour tortilla or something like that, that's fine. You can use your preference. And then we'll sprinkle our chicken and our cheese. This is 1 cup of cheddar cheese and 3 cups of Monterey Jack cheese. It a combination of each with favoring on the Monterey Jack. So okay, I think we're going to bring this over and start filling the tortillas. Put just a little bit on the tortilla, and it'll soften it so it's nice and flexible when you roll it. Smells really good. This is a nice dish to make for the kids if they're having friends over, or if you like a casual supper. And you can actually even make this ahead of time and put it in the oven closer to when you want to eat. So then I'm going to sprinkle some of the chicken in there. This I've baked in the oven. You can, if you want to brown it in a pan, however you like to cook your chicken. I like to bake it slowly. And it's just seasoned with salt and pepper. Okay, now we'll sprinkle some cheese in there. Everything's better with cheese. As far as the cheddar goes, you can use mild or medium or sharp. There again, that would go with whatever you and your family prefer. Some things require more flavor. This, because it's got a lot of flavor in the seasonings, a mild cheddar works fine. Okay, now we're going to roll these. And you put them seam side down in the pan, and I have sprayed the pan with cooking spray. When you fill your shells, you always leave a space on the edge because by the time you roll, it kind of pushes its way down there, so. Okay, now to the sauce, we are going to add some sour cream, the remaining sauce. Looking for my whisk. See it? So the sauce looks like this. And then we're going to spread it over the top of the tortillas. Okay, we're going to put it in the oven and let it bake for about anywhere from a half an hour to about 40 minutes. And then I'm going to wait and sprinkle the remaining cheese on it after it's cooked a little while. So remember that all these recipes can be found on the Valley website. And if you don't have internet, just give the girls a call and they'll make sure you get a copy. So we'll give that a minute to bake and we'll be right back.
Valley Telecommunications, the home team advantage.
Okay, we're ready to take the enchiladas out of the oven. They look great. So we're ready to dish. I'm going to dish a little bit of the salad. You can toss the whole salad with the dressing if you like, or you can let your guests serve themselves. Whatever you like. Okay. Cut some cake. That first piece is always hard to get out, isn't it? Looks like I'm getting a couple of them there. There we go. We have your chicken enchiladas, your spinach and berry salad, and your sauerkraut surprise cake. Thank you for joining us on this edition of Country Cooking, and we'll see you next time.